Welcome back to the Potty C. For those that don't know, that's slang for podcast.
Join the Discord if you want to get in on all
That's a bit for one person out there.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be involved, join the Discord.
Join the Discord, join our chats. We've been talking, we've been active, we've got lots of stuff coming, lots of stuff planned. This is Alex.
Mitch. I just realised this is like spoilers. Like, oh my God, Mitch and Alex record on Mondays. We record on Mondays because like we're free. But also like we didn't introduce ourselves at all. The last episode we just recorded.
People know who we are. We did one episode.
Yeah.
We're kind of big deals now.
Don't know about that one.
Because we are going to briefly cover again who we are, go over some stuff.
Yeah.
We do want to say thank you for the overwhelming support. People were actually interested in us doing a little bit of a program.
It was nice. It was really nice. And because you're not super creative in your background. No. Whereas I am a creative professional and this is a bit like, maybe people don't know this about me, but before becoming a composer, I reckon I went through like 5 different aliases of trying to be like a DJ or EDM artist or anything. All of them miserably failed. So it's scary. Like, I don't know if you were scared. You were probably just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I was a little nervous because it's like we had a little idea and I was like, this is what I want to do. And then it like progresses and you go, we're doing this, let's go. And then it was like, now we're
actually doing this.
We actually have stuff and we want to make it look nice and then content and stuff will work over time.
Yeah, and then we spent far too long looking at all the nitty-gritties, like the logo and whatever, which like, it matters, but like, don't want to be like...
But it'll change and stuff. We'll progress. And
at the end of the day, like, thanks to everyone who shows support. It is comforting to have that supportive group and to post something online and to not watch it sit there and get no likes, no comments or anything for weeks is very nice because I've been through that before. It's brutal. But no, we appreciate everyone. Thanks for showing us the love and the support. Hope you enjoyed our previous episode, which we just alluded to, like we're recording it today, but like released on Tuesday. This will be out on Friday. We're doing 2 a week now. We're going to do a shorter episode on the Tuesdays, and we'll do our longer main episode on the Fridays. So this week we're going to cover the entire MAVSL season. Round 1 was on the weekend. We spoke about it. We gave our thoughts, our opinions. Anything you want to add to like? We tried to keep it short, and we were like, 20 minutes or under. 39 minutes or something was the recording. So probably won't be that long when you guys see it, but
I think it was good. Covered the first round, which is always a very interesting one, highest action probably. So
very volatile as well. Yeah,
a lot of variability because teams might not know each other yet. So teams will get stronger over it. Probably could have insulted a few people a little more because
we'll get to that.
We'll get to it. We'll include a couple jabs at
some of our teammates,
some mates. So yeah,
they'll find out.
They got saved by us missing them a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Oh, well. Quick updates. That was the round 1 on the weekend. Local Victorian scene. There's nothing really going on. Alex and I are going away. It's this Sunday.
Yeah, the tournament begins next week.
Yeah, we're coaching Union Nationals next week. So don't worry though, we've got our content sorted. You guys are going to have content, and we might do some away content.
Yeah. And
we'll
then
see how it goes.
Because there's actually, I guess it's almost tournament. It's tournament season sort of. Because then after that, there's club champs as well, where we will potentially be versing each other
for the first time ever.
Yeah, maybe on the sand we flayed each other, but
we don't remember. I don't remember it.
I don't really remember it either. Other than I probably won.
You definitely won. I'm not a sand guy. Sand just gets up everywhere.
Me neither.
Me neither.
I'm there.
You're better at sand than you are at indoor, low key.
Shit.
I'm actually excited. If we play each other, I'm actually excited.
Yeah.
Because at trainings,
we'll be able to have a little bit more net talk between us.
Shocking.
Shocking
pun. But anyways, that would be good, like mic'd up across the net.
Yeah.
In Bendigo.
We can just share one microphone though. We can just
have it at the net. Yeah. That would be pretty funny actually.
Yeah.
What else are we? there's as this progresses, we will slowly start touching on some of the international professional seasons. The Plus Liga starts like in a couple of weeks. So does the Italian league. The Bundesliga starts in a couple of weeks as well. We're not going to cover all of them because that's so much. As much as, I mean, like, it's like overwhelming for most people, I feel like, including me. And I am not easily overwhelmed with volleyball. But just, we'll keep everyone in the loop because I think it's important to bring that level of volleyball to people who like maybe don't know about it or don't know where to watch it. It's fairly hard to watch the Plus Liga, especially. You don't need a VPN, but you need to find like their version, like the Polish version of like SBS on demand. They have like their own version.
We can look at the notable international players that you might have seen at the Olympics that you'll see at VNL every year and Champions League as well. And then also the Australians, the Australians that are over there playing in those.
A lot of Aussies
teams
that are playing, like a couple of our friends are playing over there.
And sometimes you don't get to see them in national team stuff if they're not qualified for certain events. So it's good to keep up with how everyone's progressing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Alex, I got a question for you. You can't say your brother again. Who has been your biggest volleyball influence and like why?
Oh, biggest volleyball
influence. Or like biggest role model or like influential person, like anyone you saw and you were like, I want to be like them. You can't say yourself either.
I can't say myself.
You can't say
in
yourself.
the mirror. I've had some pretty good coaches. I've been pretty lucky with my coaching environment that I've had as a player.
Yeah.
That's probably progressed to be as a coach.
Yeah.
The person I'll say
Me.
can be Joe Yidget.
Oh.
I think very influential coach, had me sort of
Friend
towards
of the
the end
show.
of my junior, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Love him. Had me sort of towards the end of my juniors on the sand.
Okay.
Probably helped me. Very good coach at adapting to my very specific play style.
Which is
me
what?
and my partner, which was just
Slow, lots of errors.
Slow two ball. We really introduced like stuff which my now partner, Mitchell McComb on the sand, was playing with someone else. They were doing shoots and combos and trick stuff. And we stuck with very simple stuff that he adapted to us. But he was very influential in terms of probably I adapt a bit of that, or I try and do a little bit of that coaching style now as a coach. Just helped me progress as a person and probably helped me because the thing that actually initially went to my head was as an under 17, I watched an under 19 team play together and they won off sheer being annoying on the sand.
So you're saying
2 balls, 1 balls, and that is what made me really want to be like, oh, you can just win by being annoying and talking and annoying and probably not make any friends. And I think Joey...
I hate 2 balls and 1 ball. I hate it. That's why I don't play beach.
I think Joey helped nip that in the bud and went, you're not that. Okay. I have a little bit more attack behind me and worked on blocking and stuff. Blocking.
You're a good blocker.
I have a defender that makes my blocking look a lot better than what it is. And
Mitch makes you look really good.
That's my constant. That's what I go for. Yeah. So that's what I do.
No, that's fair. Nah. Joey's a friend of the show. A very, very established coach. He's got you at like you are playing AAA at the highest level beach in Victoria. Like, are you winning very much though?
Win every now and again. Got to get that. Next year's the year. We'll refocus. Me and Mitch will get some trainings in. You know.
Yeah.
He's not our coach.
Second class Mitch, I reckon.
Yeah, it's been downhill since he's left. If that can be a compliment to him. He's been very good. Still see him on the national tour and talk to him. He's very nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was compliments enough.
We'll find out. I'm sure we'll get messages. Yeah, nice. We were going to do, a lot of people in our last episode, we said that we were going to do the Olympic gold medals breakdown, but we're actually not doing that because we're liars. No, it's because we had a really busy weekend. We had our presentation night for Renegades, which was a great event. And it was a lot of fun, too much fun. Was very tired on Sunday where we were supposed to watch the gold medal matches. Well, we were sort of like, maybe going to do it, maybe not going to do it, depending on some things and some other things in the other AVL space, which didn't end up happening. And we were like, oh, it's just a lot. So we were just like, you know what, let's have a little bit more about you and me. More of the same. And then just see how we go. And we'll really sit down, pick a good time to watch those matches again. Because we've both seen them already. but let's watch them again. Let's really dive into some more stuff. I already have plenty of stuff to prepare, but we really want to, when we talk about games and when we break down matches in this show, we really want to nail the information. A biggest thing for me is probably to talk about the why. Like the why has to be really important, right? Especially when you're learning coaching, we're developing coaching. Like there's even things now that I'm watching these international players do and I'm just like, why on earth would you do that? But there's a reason. And there's a reason why it worked. And sometimes I can't figure it out. So we're taking the time. We're going to rewatch that sort of stuff and we'll do that for the next episode. Hopefully we don't lie twice in our first 4 episodes, but we'll see.
I think we'll lie a lot and change our opinions a lot. So
it's just surprises for the audience.
Everything's a bit. That's the defense.
We're learning. We're new to this. Is there anything else we need?
No, that was sort of our intro section bit. We can just cover a little bit.
I'm at the main topic.
Yeah, you're at the main topic. What? We're in the main topic. That's what I know.
This is us trying to plan.
Because we have a timeout. This is our function. This is our.
You got to do the thing.
Timeout is our focus. Our breakaway from
the main
already being off topic. We're breaking away to be even further off topic.
Yeah,
and that's what we will be doing.
What's our timeout today?
A little bit.
Oh, you're not doing it now.
No, I am doing it now.
Oh, okay.
No, just we'll keep that going.
For everything.
So timeout will be our breakaway off topic for even further off topic. To investigate that we didn't actually really say a lot about your specific background, but you've done a lot of the setup for this, organising and stuff because you have a background as a music composer.
Yeah. Is this where I say what it is?
What is it? What do you do? What's a music composer actually do? Like Fred again?
A lot of crying, to be honest. No, not quite. I don't think you'll see a lot of rave festivals with the music that I kind of write. That's a lie. Two Steps from Hell is probably no one knows what that is. But if you Google it, you'll see some very, very big, well-known songs that blow up. Everyone's probably heard them, but has no idea that they've heard them. They actually tour and they do, but it's more of a sit-down kind of concert. So I'm an audio professional. I write music for film, TV, and games and all sorts of media. Got into it really oddly. I was very, very bad at the start, but one person on YouTube found me and emailed me and reached out and was like, if you really care, like I'll mentor you. So he mentored me for a while. He's a German guy. He's lovely. Still talk to him now. This was 10 years ago, I think. And didn't really realize that you could make a career out of that. Like you can't study it or anything, and then fell into what we call is like a publisher, and then you write music for them. It sits on like a catalog that we call industry music. So I can't release a lot of the stuff I write. Like otherwise I'd just let everyone listen to it all the time, but I would get sued. So it just sort of sits there, and then like big movie marketing companies or trailer houses, sometimes it depends on which order, but they will then, so when they're making the trailer for a movie, they're cutting it. Well, normally they buy the music first. So they'll go to one of these catalogs, they'll look at all the stuff that's sitting there and go, this song really fits what we're going for. They'll buy it, and then I'll get a commission, and then that goes on whatever that may be. So I've had some TV spots for Marvel, I've been on Love Island and Bachelor and all the like sappy, like, you know, when like the couples have to sit down.
All the shows I love.
Yeah, like you, me, Laura, and Kate, we love the F-Boy Island.
I haven't watched that one.
It's great. It's good fun.
And might never. Maybe that's where I'll draw the line.
It's great television. What are you talking about? So like all like the campfire where they've got to like recouple and stuff, all that dramatic music, like that's the sort of vibe that we're going for.
So you have plenty of time to watch lots of volleyball on the side while you're producing?
Yeah, usually
or do you lock yourself in?
Nah, like because it's an audio thing, I can't do it for like super long, otherwise my ears just start to ring. Mm-hmm. So a lot of breaks, a lot of like I'll write at like quite a low volume and have volleyball in the background, often muted because I have to listen to what I'm actually writing. Otherwise, it just doesn't really work.
So then, when you watch the volleyball, you just nitpick all their
absolutely
heavy music in between sets and
all of the
monster block sound bites and stuff.
I don't mind the monster block.
Okay, that's good. That's
good. Not that anyone from VNL is going to watch this, but I absolutely hate the VNL intro song. Like I'm sorry. Not that it sucks. just don't think it's the vibe that they need. I think it needs to be way more energetic than what it is. But maybe everyone loves it and I'm the odd one out, which is highly likely. So that's fine. I'm into weird music. I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah.
So then, naturally being fairly okay with audio. I'm hoping everyone has enjoyed the audio for the most part because hopefully I'm good at it. I've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, that's what I do in case people didn't really know that. Trying to, now that I've done my own business under my own name and I'm fairly competent, I would like to do a lot of content for volleyball and help the volleyball scene and provide music where I can. And there's a lot more to it than just music too, like sound bites. I wrote the intro to this podcast. I hope you guys liked it. We didn't know what the intro was going to sound like, and then I made it, and then our first edit was this really dramatic music, and then it was just welcome. It was just the most anticlimactic thing. And we probably did it this episode too, but maybe that can be a running theme.
Get everyone hype for us just to be.
And then just us being welcome.
Welcome. Us again. You're here with us.
Welcome back. So that's what I do. That's our timeout for today, or your timeout. But are we doing yours? Time's up. Okay.
Well, time's up. Time's out.
It's fine. Mine for you is just you're boring.
Whoa.
We are very fortunate today to have. Nah, you can do it. I did it last time.
Do we? Yeah, we have our sponsor. Okay. We are very lucky to have support from the Melbourne University Renegades Volleyball Club. So many programs are offered by them. We are a part of it as players, as coaches, as social players too. So there's social trainings, there's social competition, junior programs. The state league season is wrapped, but we are in the off-season period. So there's
good time to join.
Good time to meet people in this off-season because there'll be a lot of turnover, new students coming in.
We often open up the social trainings as well because our state league teams have ceased training and there's more space. So consider that as an option as well.
Yeah, so links will be in the description, or you can go to members.renegades.com.au, look at the programs, see which ones interest you, sign up, come down.
Yeah, go and try it. We do a lot of free trial stuff as well.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Melbourne University Renegades for sponsoring us and always encouraging Alex and I on our crazy ideas. All right. Off topic.
This is a bit I inserted.
This is all you, buddy.
It is not a timeout. That's a different program, different segment. This is just Alex off topic hour, but not an hour. I've been restricted.
I have no idea what this is going to be about, so everyone brace yourself.
This is just why there's a podcast as well, is that you have to sit here with me. They hopefully won't turn off. And Laura doesn't listen to me at home. So
Laura is Alex's partner, by the way. In case anyone's wondering who this random Laura person is, Laura is by far the better half of Alex.
Because I'm very interested in things people aren't interested in.
Yeah.
NFL being one of them. Jersey Day for this episode. Because the season's starting next week as well. So if anyone's interested to chit chat, season's starting. But I just have interest in when NFL money comes to volleyball, because there's a player that just held out of attending preseason trainings on the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, just to negotiate getting a couple extra million. So he's on $30 million a year. And it's just absurd to me, that kind of money.
We're in the wrong sport.
And it made me think, imagine if you got fined for not attending a preseason training.
Well, we do have the fines in one of our teams.
Yeah.
It goes towards a good end of season event.
Yeah.
But if you miss trainings and stuff, we get fined. But our fines are a couple bucks. How much is this fine?
It's not in the $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 range for missing preseason training events.
But I feel like we spoke about this a while back, but didn't you say it goes to a charity?
Yeah, I believe it goes to the NFL Player Commission, who distributes it to charities and other things.
At least
so
it's a good cause.
Somewhere when players in the NFL or other sports get fined, you will see it doesn't just go to someone's pocket, which is good to see. But it is crazy to see that happen.
Amount of money. Yeah.
Other news from other sport just to be there. I mean, there's still NFL players that are holding out before the seasons even start. Some will sit games.
And it's just pennies for them.
Yeah, so maybe we need to bring contact to volleyball, and that's how you get the money. Make volleyball a contact sport.
Contact sport?
Yeah.
Well, actually, continuing this off-topic segment, but it's kind of back on topic. You watch the AVP the American
beach
beach volleyball pro tour.
Yeah.
It's not Taylor, it's Trevor Crabb and his partner, I can't remember, and then Chase Puninga, I think his name is. They got into a bit of a scuffle and there was a couple of red cards.
Yeah.
Bit of contact
Was
there.
that the little sweep under the net? I believe I saw.
I think he was just yelling at him
One of the
after he
McKibben
blocked
brothers
him.
also covered that, where he
I saw
snuck
that.
under the net and
This was
prevented
literally 2
them
days
from
ago.
getting the ball.
This was on the weekend, the Chicago Open.
Hey, Budinger, also a NBA player.
Ex-NBA,
Oh, maybe not NBA.
No,
College,
ex-NBA. Yeah.
So there's some history there.
Yeah.
Other sports crossover.
I think, I think shit talk is good for volleyball.
Yeah.
And I think, throwing a few cards out, it's spicy, it's eventful. Sometimes it's not in the best taste of the sport, but all that small.
As long as it's everyone knows within reason, volleyball is a game of friends. It's never that serious. No. Even at the highest level, you see them laugh and joke through the net because
at the end of the game, everyone shakes hands.
Yeah, volleyball's a great sport for people play together and then play against each other and then will play together. Even at the Olympics, you see the Polish team playing the American team. A bunch of those Americans play
with the Polish team.
In those teams. So they have that little bit of extra rivalry here and there, and then they'll go back and they'll play club. So even now in the Australian level, you'll play indoor. You might see them on the beach. You'll see them at Vipers. You'll see them at State League.
Yeah.
So there's just lots of crossover, and it's really good when you get to talk a little bit through the net.
Get to test the water.
Get a yellow card for something funny, not for anything
nothing
malicious.
Sinister. But I think it's good. I think a little bit of shit talk's good for the sport. Yeah. And that was I didn't see the full video, but you know how in beach you have to change sides?
Yeah,
Obviously you know, but I'm a bit newer. And maybe everyone doesn't really know that you change sides every 7 points or so that the weather affects it even though they play in stadiums. Come on. So I'm pretty sure Trevor gets this massive block or is talking to him mid-rally and then goes up and then he misses. One of the two, I can't quite remember. And then lands and because it's the change of ends and just walks straight up to him while talking crap to him and then walks past it. I'm pretty sure Chase just went, nah, I've had enough of this. And just turns and gives him a little bit of a shoulder barge and then maybe that was a bit much, but then they were just at each other. And I was just that is really funny because Trevor is known to go on several podcasts and say, yeah, I'm gonna talk some shit to these guys. And now it's bit him a little bit because I think they lost that match and it was a semi-final. Yeah.
Happens when it backfires, it hurts. If you
it hurts even more. Yeah.
Beach is a little more controllable though, because if it backfires, it's on you. Imagine indoor, you talk trash and then someone serves into the net.
Yeah, that's
why you got to really back it up yourself a little bit. Or
I believe I've said to you multiple times in mid-match, Alex, I can't believe you missed that serve. I'm talking to the other team. Yeah. Why have you embarrassed me like this?
Yeah, it couldn't have been me. It was someone else that missed that serve.
I don't know. Yeah. Are you done with about NFL?
Yeah, that's done.
I can't even tell you what NFL stands for.
National Football League.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's different conferences and stuff. There's the AFC, American. Yeah, NFC.
So that whole topic was really just you wanted a friend that wasn't
I just wanted to talk a little bit about, thank God that he actually re-signed with this team. 49ers. They still actually have a couple players holding out. They do a big barbecue preseason, actually. The quarterback hosted a big barbecue with offensive and defensive linemen, and one of them didn't show up.
So he got fined for
$50,000. No, well, that was just an event. That would be not showing up to Pres Night like a couple boys did. But they had reasons because they're playing for the Vipers.
Yeah. You and I have played in several teams where we've had the fine system as a bit of fun and a bit of thing. Sometimes it bothers me and other times I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
What fines are you okay with?
More often than not, it bothers me, but I don't.
You don't hate it?
Everyone has issues with showing up late or something, but if you're invested in a team and players are wanting to be there, you don't really need to force that. It's like making kids run suicides for
it's just not really conducive anymore.
But if you're doing something actively funny or negative or you can make it a bit more of a lighthearted influence that people are happy to contribute to.
Yeah. The late stuff for me always bothered me. And if anyone from the teams that I've been involved with the fines is listening to this, they'll know exactly why, because it takes me forever to get to training from this side of town and you just never know what the traffic's going to be like. And people are going to say like, oh, you always know the traffic's going to be there. From how far away we live, it either takes an hour and a half or you're looking at 2 hours. Or sometimes you may get a day where it's 50 minutes and you just have no idea. And all of this is with tolls too. Yeah. So it's not cheap already. Like I'm already paying a fine to get to training on the tolls. Like, please have mercy. I've never minded the funny fines though. As long as they're not in game. That bothers me a little bit because things in game should just stay in game. And it is whatever. But funny mistakes at trainings is like talking like really funny mistakes in training environment. I can't remember any at the top of my head, if I'm honest with you. Yeah. But
there could be some fines from the weekend for here. Let's throw some shade for the weekend.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I hear a stadium.
Yeah. Stadium with aircon.
People can complain. It's hot in Queensland. It was 34 degrees, I think, on the weekend for round one of
As
AVL.
A Queenslander, I'm going to sound like the biggest dad here. It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
But teammate Darcy Cox,
we love
him.
Too
too early in a game to be blaming it on sweat. I think in an air-conditioned stadium, has one go clean through his hands.
Yeah,
hands way too
right
far.
to him as well.
Right to him as well. Perfect pass. Oh,
my favorite thing about that play too was. We've known Darcy for a long time. I've known him because we played together in Queensland.
Yeah.
He's just got the cheekiest smile when he does anything.
Yeah, that's the
and
bit
the
after.
camera zoomed in on him after he did it. Wipes his hands. It's like, Darcy, there was no sweat on that ball. Actually, no, that's a lie. Darcy's a very sweaty guy.
Yeah.
In the middle of winter, the man should go through like 2 jerseys a game minimum. He's so sweaty. But unlucky
That's
Darcy.
a testament to how
hard he works.
But how funny and unserious volleyball is in those moments. Both teams laugh. He laughs, shakes it off.
It was a funny one.
But he's got the background. Renegades has had some sweaty players over the time, so he knows what to expect.
We have had some sweaty players in our team for sure. There was another one. I'm going to throw shade at all the middles that listen to this. In these systems that you play, don't get the second ball if it's out of system. Just don't. Just get out of the way. Nick Boson, I'm talking about you. Scott's coming in to set that ball. Get out of his way. Like, it's not the system. And there was a big clash there. Everyone had a bit of another laugh on that one. Well, I think everyone except for maybe some of the coaching stuff. But that was another funny one for me.
Yeah, it was. But there's a common issue. We had it happen in our grand final at State League.
True.
Michael Cirillo, they're name dropping him too. He'd still be heated about Andre getting in the way as a middle. Middles want to be setters. Everyone wants to be a setter.
Middles, just transition, go and hit the ball.
Yeah, just be above the net to swing.
You know what? I'm going to throw you under the bus too. What? You and Henry in the grand final. Was this in the grand final? Yes, it was, because I remember watching it from bed and was visibly annoyed. And then I was like, oh, I can't do that. It actually hurts.
I did it. I took Henry's ball as an opposite.
Yeah. And then what did you do after? You doubled it.
Henry bumped me.
You doubled it?
Yeah, I did double it. I did, yeah. Or did Henry get the contact? I don't know. But I'm an opposite. Opposite's the second setter on a team.
Opposites are the real.
No, that actually was a pretty bad moment. I felt very bad for it. I really thought Henry was playing way deeper, doing absurd movements
I'm hearing
that he normally does. He normally is covering the whole court, so he's busy. Yeah. So I thought he'd be diving over barriers or something, but then he was just up and back next to me, and I was already in the way. Going for an over-the-shoulder back set, it would have been perfect.
Shout out to Henry, though. Our Renegades internal MVP beat you by about 60 votes, I reckon.
Yeah, a lot. It wasn't very close.
So that should tell you who should set the ball.
Yeah. No, he should attack. Yeah, no, fair. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Yeah, we've got some questions from the audience. We're going to do this every week because I love a bit of interactivity with the community. Got some good ones this week. Got some ones from last week we didn't quite get to because their recording time went over, as per. We're pretty good like that. I like this one. This one was always a good question. It always just gets you talking. I can always just tell people, like, do you actually watch volleyball or not? We've gone through every position as well. Alex has had to write his down. Shame.
Mitch has a much better memory when it comes to volleyball. Player names, positions, everything. I am just always just forgetting names, mixing them up, whatever. I'm just like, that and opposite.
This
and
is
just will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
I clarify with you a lot. Yeah.
Mitch, help me, please. Let us know in the comments because this is always a good one. And every time I think about this, I always forget people because there are so many good players in the world. Throw it in the comments, whatever you're watching on. Send it to us on YouTube, on Instagram rather. Who in their respective position are the best active players in the world right now? Sorry, I've got the hiccups or something. Who like, we'll start with you. That way I can judge you.
Ignore, change, ruin. Yeah. So I can't just be like,
I can just edit this out.
Yeah.
He's got to read off the...
Yeah, I'm reading off what I wrote down. A lot of them we did get to re-see in the national
This
season.
is a shared document. I could just delete this.
VNL and then Olympics is probably the largest, most recent time that I'm judging off myself because I don't watch enough of their regular seasons like you do. I always verify with you about whether
I'm going to make you watch it this year.
Yeah, but I mean, the Olympic, for pass hitter, best at the moment, the Olympic MVP and Olympic Dream Team best pass hitter, although there's two. But he got Olympic MVP 2 years in a row, 2 Olympics in a row.
Yeah.
So there's a 4-year gap between that. So he's been pretty good for a long while. He's Engapeth.
Nah, wrong.
French pass hitter.
No, fair. I understand the pick.
I mean, he gets a bit of criticism every now and again.
Understandably.
But he was
solid.
He was passing amazingly in those.
That whole French team.
So that French team is kind of a cheat code. And then I did actually put a notable honourable mention of Stephen Ma from Canada for fantasy specifically.
He carried my fantasy team.
Just for Canada, he was absurd.
He was so good.
Yeah, just a very efficient hitter, was passing amazing. So outside hitters couldn't. Fantasy will cover if it comes back.
It'll come back, sure.
It's very hard to rate pass hitters sometimes because they get so many ways to be negatives.
Yeah.
Defense, serve reception.
They're so involved.
Attack errors. Like there's 3 different points versus opposites get and blocking, I guess. But opposites just get blocking, attacking. And
setters just get setting.
Setters just get setting and defense. But like,
yeah,
there's so many different ways pass hitters influence it. So you really need those good ones.
You need a really good all rounder. Yeah.
Like who's your like me? Is that what you said?
No, I said you need a good all rounder.
Like me.
That's not what I said.
I heard it.
I would never say I'm an all rounder. I'm very good at one thing. Vibing up the bench.
Who's your best active pass hitter?
Hot take. I'm always a hot Henry. No, sorry, Henry. I love you, but not quite that much. This guy was injured for the Olympics, but I followed him for a number of years. He's definitely one of my role models as a player because he's not undersized. He's like 2 meters. So, but like, I guess at that level, you're pretty much undersized at that height. Slivka from Alexander Slivka from Poland. If he wasn't injured, like he broke his wrist at the end of the Plusliga season. The Plusliga is the Polish professional league, for those who are curious. If he didn't break his wrist, and not to take anything away from Thomas Fornal, who replaced him in the Polish national team as the second pass hitter to Wilfredo Leon, I just think Poland potentially would have looked a bit better because Slivka is, in my opinion, a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more grounded than what Fornal can be sometimes. And he's a lefty. He's real crafty. I just think he just does it all. And I'm watching him play for Zaxa, who is a very, very well run and very successful team over the last sort of 4 or so years, except for the previous year. But they were riddled with injuries and all sorts of things that I can make excuse for. But he would be my pass hitter.
Are you putting him over Leon?
I actually am. Leon, to me, if we're talking like prime Zenit Kazan Leon, where he just was a nightmare, fuel volleyball player to play against, then he'd be the best player in the world.
I think he returned to a bit of a prime over the Olympics.
He did in a few games.
A
few games he just went, all right, it's time to get a few aces here. I'm putting the boys on the back. Yeah. But just consistently the last few years, Alexander Slivka has been my guy that I just aspire to be as crafty, dynamic, and as just inventive as him. All right.
That's why I picked Engapeth, because I want to be slow like him.
Lazy. Oh, people say he's lazy, but he's efficient.
Yeah.
He's efficient.
Yeah, same.
You can't be MVP of the Olympics twice and be lazy. There's just no way. I like Engapeth too, but I feel for my man Slivka. I think if he wasn't injured, I think I would love to see what that matchup would look like.
Yeah.
In saying that, though, the French are Showtime players.
Yeah, we'll talk about that matchup.
We'll
France.
say
No more
spoilers.
in depth.
Well, we need to watch it again.
Yeah. Who's your best setter in the world at the moment? Is that going to be a Polish French player too? Probably, maybe. No?
I'm a Polish fanboy, low-key. I'll give you two because I just can't decide. And it depends on the team they're playing in.
Yeah.
Really like Janusz from Poland. He's an interesting setter for me because he's the least aggressive points winner setter. Like looking at guys like Gianelli, who love to throw the ball in two, if that ball's anywhere near the attack line and he's front court, the man just transitions and swings, which is wicked. But it's just like, I like Janusz because I don't think I've ever seen him dump a ball. He is just a setter that is like, I'm here to set my hitters the best balls I can every single time.
A coach's dream.
A coach's dream, right? And again, Zach's a fanboy here. I love watching them play. I loved watching them play at their prime. They've had a massive roster train, so I'm not going to be able to see it again. Whatever. Watching him run the offense in that team and use just the distribution and just everything. I just nerded out on it. Watching him set was wicked. My second guy is probably Sakita, and I know that's probably your first. Sakita's undersized, so you lose a little bit there, but watching him run Japan's offense is something.
Those hitters just make it so high octane.
Yeah.
Their game style, like the way they are so
and you can't
offensively minded.
Yeah, and you can't like have that without a setter like Sakita.
Yeah.
Like it just looks so different.
Yeah.
Who have you got?
That can be my top, I think.
Sakita's
he's
just awesome.
Got probably the best hands I see. Like I just really like.
And some of the the balls he throws, it's just
from
like, how did you do that?
Movement as well. He's just very agile. But I did actually note someone else down. That was
He's definitely not the best in the world.
He's my favorite.
But he's fun
just
to
so
watch.
nice to watch, and it'll be just a testament to getting people to watch more volleyball for nations that you might not see that often, and the testament to people just getting better younger. So I've got the Bulgarian setter, Simeon Nikolov.
I watch him. He's 17.
Yeah.
Watch him over the next 4 years. Like
I want to see him play with his brother. His brother was injured.
Alex Nikolov,
Tall,
surgery.
Pass hitter.
Watching him play pro.
Yeah.
He's like 19.
Yeah. So there'll be a partnership for the ages together. But he did some serious work for Bulgaria, did some amazing game management and setting decisions and really influenced that game, ran their middles a lot.
So he's another setter where any ball near the attack line, he demolished them. Yeah. I couldn't believe, I don't think he would be the hardest hitting setter I think I've ever seen.
The kind of stuff that I'll tell my juniors off for doing. I'd tell a setter off for training, turning and burning like that. But it's cool when you do it and you're really good.
Oh, he's also 2 meters and 5. Like he's massive. He's a big unit. Someone I just realized we forgot, and I'm going to get ridiculed by several friends because we talk about this sort of thing a long time. Not you though, because you've forgotten about this guy as well. Alessandro Michieletto.
Oh, in the past it is, being very young
and just massive.
Statistically.
Almost perfect. Yeah. The only reason why I sometimes forget him is Italy they're not that good anymore. They didn't do that well at the Olympics.
Yeah.
As well as I think they should have with the roster that they've got and the guys they've got. But he's definitely a pass hitter to watch out for. He's so young. He's 22. He's 2 meters 11 and he's a lefty. Like the man doesn't know how to, he doesn't know how to tip, but he just see ball, hit ball and OT everyone.
Yeah.
Like absurd.
And Crafty, he's probably one of those people that you see, maybe he didn't pioneer it. You'll probably know if someone did it really much more before him. But so many people, instead of tipping, will do a two-handed throw
Slivka.
down. And
Slivka's the guy.
Slivka's the guy, but Michieletto looks so good when he does it too.
Oh, yeah, because he's above the net sitting down. Slivka's going to go up and over.
Yeah, but Michieletto just does it in a way that
they call him
Lucchesi tries to mimic a sliver of that.
Lucchesi does it well, and we have to play against him, and it's... Dill, stop doing it. It's really just frustrating. Keep doing it for Vipers. And then when you play next year,
when we play
stop
each other.
doing it.
I've got a lib. We'll move on to lib now.
Yeah.
I've got a lib that is an Australian national player, which maybe people don't get to see that much anymore with national teams still trying to qualify again for high tournaments, but he's playing professionally and doing tremendous. I've got Luke Perry as my favourite / best libero in the world because he just looks...
He's so good.
For us, maybe it's a bit of just like watching him the most and seeing him a lot over his time.
This is biased because we are Australian, but there's a little bit of facts behind this. He's a very underrated lib, I think, because of our national team being quite young and we're in that phase of our national sort of cycle where we're finding new talent. We're trying to find that new team and he's sort of a couple of the older players that are still around that potentially are still there, but need that experience around him to make him look good as well. I feel like it is hard as a libero when you're that good to sort of, well, like we know he's good, but doesn't get the same sort of shine as like a Grebenikov or a Lasso or those sort of liberos. But Luke Perry, I don't want to say this is fact, so just feel free to fact check me, but I believe I saw several posts last year during the Plus Liga season that he was statistically the highest passing and defending libero for a good chunk of the season. So he's still outperforming some of the best liberos in the world. Yeah, like Eric Shoji's in that league. Also the Zatorski is in that league as well, like the actual Polish. Like so, Luke Perry is up there, very much up there. My favorite lib though is Yamamoto.
Yeah, okay.
He's just awesome. He's just awesome. And like, I think you have to give him so much credit because Japan are not a good blocking team. And you can't really expect them to be a good blocking team because they are undersized. But they know that. That's their DNA. Like they are so heavily invested in defending block system, like that sort of thing. Yeah. You've got to give so much credit to Yamamoto. And he's just, some of the balls he digs, I'm just like, that's outrageous.
Yeah. You got to think about like if you slot someone else in that position.
Do they look as good?
Does it look as good? Does it, what changes? And I think he's just like perfectly built to have that sort of weight relied on him.
Yeah, no, I nailed it. Like just, does it look as good with someone else? I don't think so.
With me there? No.
Yeah, you can't defend. Well,
you there?
Hey, I played lib for a couple of seasons when my knees didn't work.
That was my fun fact. We'll get back to it in another episode.
Opposite. You read yours out because it's
the obvious
You'll
one.
forget.
Because it's the obvious one.
No, you're fair.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. I heard enough from a French man on our team that I was undervaluing undervaluing the French national team because I just...
Well, they did win.
Yeah, but I just was like, they're all good. So they all look good. But then it's Patry.
Yeah. He was an animal.
Yeah.
And
probably could have been Olympic MVP as well. Like
you could argue he was snubbed. A lot of people were saying that he was a bit snubbed.
Yeah, but he was, because he was so good as an opposite. There's so many good, strong opposites that actually have a lot of the offensive load that are relied upon. Nimir's an amazing one as well that just gets so much of the offensive work for Netherlands. But
he's sort of the only reason why that team's relevant, I think.
Tonche Stern for
Slovenia. Yeah,
Slovenia, he's an amazing opposite as well.
Yeah, he really pulled them to the
look at fantasy.
Spotlight.
Look at him for fantasy next year.
Yeah,
who's your opposite that you've got going through? Anyone interesting?
Opposite's always a tough one for me because I just think opposite, like they're important, but they're not that important.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Lucky I'm not an opposite.
I think there's a couple of opposites that come to mind for me that aren't super flashy, but they just go and get it done. Kurek is one for me. Like he's been that Polish opposite for so long and he's so good and he's been good for so long, but he often gets overlooked by guys like Nimir who are, probably better statistically and all that sort of thing. But I think Kurek is just rock solid all the time. Like Nimir can really have a stinker from time to time. Matt Anderson comes to mind as well. Rock solid, also can have a stinker from time to time. Probably looking at Kurek or another hot take of mine is Miura.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Nishida. Genuinely.
Yeah?
I think he is, yeah. Like we didn't see a lot of him in the Olympics, but when we saw the load management from, I forget their coach's name, but when we saw him having to load manage them a little bit between Nishida and Miura, I just thought Miura looked a little bit better. Yeah, he's a bit bigger, and I think he's actually older than Nishida by like a year or two. Yeah. But I'll have to check that. So one of those two. I like the underrated picks because everyone just goes for Namir and, you know.
What?
But if you're in a fantasy setting, you'd be silly not to take Namir.
Yeah, but then if you're in the fantasy setting, they're so expensive.
Yeah, Namir's an expensive
They're the
player.
pricey players. So sometimes you have to look at those lower teams that have sort of those cheaper players in those positions.
So Miro is a good pick if you're on a budget for the fantasy team. But we'll talk about that when it
We'll
comes.
get back to that because then the middles.
Who you
We're
got?
on to the middles.
Can you pronounce this properly?
Kokonowski.
Kokonowski.
is he here? And knew that because I have it written down because
I love
need to.
Kokonowski. He's good. He's not he's not who I think is the best. But
I mean, Bieniek is pretty good as well on that Polish team as well. He's just been injured.
His
so he
ankle's
hasn't
cooked.
been there in the international season at all this year.
No, he was there early.
Was he there for early
and then
VNL?
he played like not VNL.
No.
He played the first couple rounds of the Olympics and then he re-flared up his ankle. It's not a rolled ankle. I think someone in one of the Polish discords I'm in was sort of saying that it's like a ligament thing that flares up and he needs to get it operated on, but he was waiting until after the Olympics. So now that he's up, he can get it operated on. But it got too bad that he couldn't end up playing.
Yeah, you can't load manage that once it goes over a certain without just doing detriment to yourself. So he's probably up there. But Kokonowski had an amazing tournament in the Olympics. That's why he's probably at the freshest bit of my mind is him.
He's good. And he I'm not sure of his age in all honesty, but he another Zaxa guy.
Yeah. Like, too many of them.
No, they pump out good athletes.
Yeah.
He was really good. If you're talking about best active player in the world, it's going to be Simon. There's no middle that's better than him. It was such a shame to not see Cuba in the Olympics, I think.
Yeah. Because they just missed out on the qualification. It was
they got
they were close. They were just
they had
next
to beat
in line?
Serbia.
Yeah.
And they lost in 5.
Yeah.
In the VNL. So that Simon just is awesome. So he's definitely the best, but a standout superstar for me, like that I just didn't. Taylor Averill was awesome.
Both American middles as well though. Holt was pretty darn good.
Yeah, I feel like Holt's always been quite good.
Always.
So that
Taylor Averill has a bit of good look about him too. He looks like a volleyball player, I reckon.
I feel like they
the
all
long
look
hair,
like,
the mustache. No, but it just is.
saying I need a mustache to look like a volleyball player.
No, get rid of the long hair, bring it back down a little bit.
Hard pass, mate. That's our favorite. That's our bit. Like, we want to hear yours. Like, give us, you know what? Give us your All-Star 7. Like, give us your ultimate team.
Or if you have an interesting pick.
Yeah, like me, I got a lot of interesting picks.
Yeah,
but I'm a guy that really loves like to play with the team chemistry. Like a lot of people will just pick like the big heavy hitters. For fantasy, you have to do that. But there's not a real metric for like team chemistry, I guess. Just like if it was team chemistry, you and me would just do it. But all right.
We'd be the worst in the world team chemistry wise. Me and you on the beach.
We've tried that. It didn't work out very well. I'm not very good on the sand. Sorry.
We've got another question. Maybe we should have done this as our best active player in the world. Does he still play anywhere socially in somewhere? He came back for a Warrnambool.
Yeah.
He played a Warrnambool at the start of this year.
And he was good.
Yeah, and he was good. So why is Gibbo your fave lib?
I've never seen a man handset 100k an hour jump serve like Gibbo can. I've just never seen it happen. Gibbo's just a fun time. I miss Gibbo. No one probably knows who he is except for our teammates and us, but that's totally okay. Maybe you'll see him if he ever comes back. Maybe you won't. Who's your favourite lib and why is it Gibbo?
It's not Gibbo. Sorry, Gibbo. It's me.
You can't play libero, Alex. That was a one and done kind of thing.
Mitchell McComb.
Your beach partner.
My beach partner. He's
Mitch
can I
is
still
a
say
very
he's new to the indoor. He's been in our seconds for 3 years now, or 2 years.
Yeah, he's got 2 gold medals.
Yeah.
And 1 silver.
Good turnout for him. But getting back on the sand. Stop this indoor.
He is a very, very good
rubbish
libero.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've really yup. I mean, that is what this podcast is all about. This is a good one, and I like this because this gets the conversation moving again. We love these kind of questions. Safe but clean and accurate setter, or risky but a bit more inconsistent? What's your preference?
I prefer safe but clean and accurate. Just like
Because you can't adjust to save your life.
I'm used to the Renegades system, all right? I've tried and adjust. I've tried to improve it over the last couple of years, being a little better, but it's always a tough thing to adjust.
Hard.
But just knowing that you can be reliably set a nice ball and you can maybe hold off your transition that little bit longer, go a little faster later, makes adjusting that little bit easier versus having to already be there for a hard-driven ball that's like for a hard set ball that's already shooting past you too far.
And it's like
on a miss set. When the miss set is just slightly wide or slightly inside or slightly tight, if it's just one of those things, it's really easy. But as soon as you start getting hit with multiple issues, too tight and inside, or
and it's like you've beat that middle blocker, but at what cost? I actually don't have a preference. So, and my theory is that it depends on the team that you're in. With our Renegades team, we probably prefer the safe but clean, accurate setting, and Mike does an absolutely amazing job, and so does Caddy. And that's probably due to the fact that this probably sounds a bit like we're so good, but we have worked really hard for a number of years to be very good dynamic hitters. And I think when you have a team full of, like, you are a very good, consistent dynamic hitter that hits very high all the time. When you've got that kind of hitter as a setter, you're probably okay with giving them the easy set at the risk of having 2 blocks, but it's like you beat 2 blocks 9 times out of 10. Me, probably not. So, but like, I've worked hard to become that sort of pass hitter that can recycle.
Yeah, we have no doubt that we can have that second attack option, that second transition and rego. And we were actually talking about earlier Mark Lebedou's statistics of efficiency as hitters, kill efficiency and attack efficiency sometimes don't get the full picture. So he actually presents another thing, which is rally efficiency, like how many rallies you win, because it doesn't matter if you recycle off the block. That almost gets counted as a negative in a lot of attack statistics.
Yeah.
But if you just play rally after rally and you can win a rally, that's really the only outcome that matters.
Absolutely. And like going back to why I really like Slivka is his hitting statistics. Well, they're actually really good because you know, he's a really, really good hitter. He's a far better hitter than I'll ever be. But when you're looking at like how many kills he gets versus a guy like Leon, it's nowhere near as many, but he potentially will see the same volume of sets, and that's because he's the kind of guy to recycle and then go fast through the middle. And we've actually built that a little bit as our identity this year at Reds, where you know, if I'm sort of the third guy this year, which works for me, where if you know when we alluded to it in the other episode that like we know the kind of damage that our middles can do, and it's just like if I get to have one-on-one, I'll have a swing and see how I go. Probably I'll lose it, but that's okay. But otherwise, I'm recycling and trying to create that situation where we can run back through the middle. And then our other pass hitters are far better and more dynamic than I am. So it's in that case of like you give a really good accurate set, you're giving your hitters the best chance to win against 2 blockers anyways. But then in saying that, I do understand the other side to that coin where at potentially a higher level or against a team that is very good at blocking, you potentially need to take that risk. You need to have that one-on-one.
Run that harder option.
To run, which in that environment, I feel like I can be a little more aggressive with how I swing because I'm a smaller player. I don't do super well against big double blocks. Well, scoring against them anyways. So potentially that may suit me a little bit more, but I can understand. It's a good question. I really like it. But I think in most teams, probably giving your hitters the best chance to make their own decisions is probably the way to go. Yeah,
just as a setter, you're just trying to distribute the ball effectively.
Don't be a hero.
Don't always set the hardest option, just...
Unless your name's Simeon Nikolov.
Yeah, then you can.
Then just bury
Turn and burn.
Bury the ball.
Don't even set an option.
I'm telling you, I watched him bury a ball, a tack line, and this ball just went out of the camera frame. It was absurd. Another good one, another one we'll talk about. How could Volleyball Victoria elevate its level of volleyball in Victoria? My interpretation of this is just like playing level and performance. So like, what's your take on that? Like, How does VV actually have an input in that? Because it's not really up to them, but it also can be up to them.
Yeah, it's just sort of, I interpret it as just like, how can the league function better and improve? Because they are just the governing body. They do a pretty good job like getting clubs, the amount of clubs that are out there now and teams that are able to compete. So it's just really facilitating that to get a good fixture out, get people playing at good venues, get support out there. Like they can just do that better and better, and that will help improve the high level.
Yeah.
People playing younger and earlier and more
Yeah.
will naturally over the time improve the quality. It's just making sure that there is then a high quality
Somewhere to go.
available.
Yeah.
Somewhere to progress to, a high level to play at.
Which they do good at because they have a whole program dedicated to the pathways. Like that's their pathway that they run, and they do a good job. Like you went through the pathway and sort of look at you. You're not a bad player. My thing, and if you know me, you sort of know my stance on this. It's hard. Like VV do a really good job with. There was hundreds and hundreds. I don't remember the statistics, but there was hundreds of teams. There were new clubs this year. There's only 16 rounds, but there's an uneven number of teams. Like there's 12 teams in our comp. There's like something like 24 in the Div 1 boys, which I was a coach for this year. So you don't really get to play everyone twice. So it's hard, and I think they're doing a good job. I think it's getting there. It'll probably take a couple more years before it's really cleaned up. Just a couple of the things like this year, there was a bit of confusion with like the pools that we played and stuff like that. We played pools in a round robin sort of format. My biggest thing is always going to be, I think there needs to be some sort of relegation. I think clubs, like new clubs that have good talent, like good juniors and stuff like that, that win lower divisions should go up.
Yeah.
But I understand that comes with a lot of challenges and risks. So I understand why it's not
a lot more management and a lot more. I mean, it's not a professional sport. It's not a professional situation, but it is just like that.
So I understand why it's not a thing, but I would love to see that implemented somehow in the future. Just because I think, we can take Heidelberg for a good example. They are lucky that the Heidelberg club had a gap in their Premier Men's program when they came along. Because if they didn't, who was going to take that? Because they have their own BBJSC Punjabi club. Like that's their club that they play for, and they're a package deal. So that it sort of works a bit differently. Yeah. So they're lucky that worked out. But they wouldn't be able to play if they didn't have that situation happen. So it would have been a real shame to not have them play Prems. Like if they had to go and play Div 1 first and work their way up, like that would have been really. But I understand there's lots of things. But I think Volleyball Victoria are doing a really good job. I think if you look at State League and the quality this year, it's been by far the best that I've been here for. Like I've been here since 2018. You've been here far longer, and it's been really, really good.
And they do a lot for juniors, the state team stuff.
New under-17s and under-19s competition.
And they are now the governing body for the Melbourne Vipers. Yeah. The National League, which is leading into our next question about like a few people were just wondering.
We mentioned it.
And we mentioned Uni Blues being the old school team, one of two of the old school teams with the VVA Vultures.
And then there was another one as well. This was before my time.
Yeah, before my time too.
Yeah.
But AVL used to be essentially
licensed
clubs would partner together or group. So I believe Uni Blues was originally Monash and Melbourne Uni.
Yeah, it was Monash and Melbourne. Yeah. And it was literally called Monash and Melbourne. Yeah. I believe that was. Yeah. And then they were like, let's do Uni Blues.
Yeah. So that was the old Australian Volleyball League that used to run. So each state just anyone could buy a license really. But,
there was New Zealand teams, the Orcas, I believe they were called.
Yeah.
And that was a bit differently, but the cons with that was it was far more expensive. Yeah. Because we used to play, it used to be a long season and you used to fly away and play 2 games and fly home, and there used to be, I think, 8 rounds, which isn't that many if you think about it, but when your whole weekend is playing 2 games and such, and then there's a whole finals home and away thing, and then there's a finals in where the Schools Cup is that year. Yeah. But that hasn't been a thing since 2018. Yeah, because 2019 was when Melbourne Vipers, every state was required to have one team, which I think is good because then it moved away from Victoria having 2 teams and splitting the talent.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I wasn't here, but I think that's really silly.
It was always a bit of a challenge about like, these 2 clubs are in the grand final and this club went to this way and this club went to this way pretty much because you usually play stuck with who
The clubs
know
that they
for
were
chemistry
at.
and stuff. And we talk about Uni Blues because that was the one we were involved in. And
It did make training easier as well because right now the biggest challenge, especially for Alex and myself and the guys that are on this side of the city, is traveling to training. It takes time. It's like an hour and a half every 2-3 nights a week. It is challenging. It's just part of the things that you sort of sign up for.
And the Uni Blues women always deserve recognition because they had an absurd championship run of just like
9 out of 10 years gold medals.
Yeah, just like in a row, just always run. They won state club of the year a couple times, like awards just recognised it because they just really had a great group of women that just kept playing year after year and they introduced new women very easily and they fit into that. So they ran for a long time. Very effectively.
Dominant franchise. Yeah. So that a lot of people were asking about what is Uni Blues and we just, we forget. We yap too much. We just forget. Some people, and like no one would have known because we were never broadcast. When I played, we would never broadcast. The first year it was broadcast was 2022 when we played together.
Yeah.
That was the first year that it was it was attempted to be broadcast before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, potentially.
It used to be do you know volleyball?
Yeah.
Come watch. Like it was a lot more smaller stadiums, smaller environment sometimes. Yeah. But then it would.
The only sort of big marketing event was the fact that finals were on
at the schools
cups. Yeah. Which was cool. Like it was. Yeah. That was how I found it.
That's a great method. Like they still do that for current Super League. They do it before the junior national comp. I believe that's happening again this year.
Yeah. No, it is.
To have them sort of run back to back. So the juniors get to experience.
Well, that was how I found
where they should be in 6 years, where they want to be.
Well, like I remember playing Schools Cup and then seeing it would have been the Pirates and Canberra Heat play back in like 2015 and being like, oh my God, these guys are unreal. And then, it's a good way to show off the sport on top of having it now being broadcast. Another good one. Don't answer this because your recovery protocol is terrible. Best ways to recover as an athlete. Actually, no. Go answer it.
Do you have it?
I don't want to hear trigger point ball.
Trigger point ball. Trigger point ball's the best.
It can't be the only.
Sleep.
You know
Sleep's
what?
the best.
Sleep is technically that is the best.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Good. And I sleep a lot.
Slept in today.
That's good. Slept in.
We're running late.
So that's always good. But just making sure you do a good prehab. I'm a big fan of doing stuff before being as crucial as after.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just roll in. Yeah, as long as it's not coaching, because that makes me tired, so I need to sleep. But it's just like making sure you do the proper activation, go through your actions properly. That's what I always do. I'm a slow warm upper. I've had this conversation. Like I don't even in hitting warm up. I run I run the right tempo, but I just go through my shoulder motion for the first couple. Then I might hit a couple harder, but still long. I'm not a big warm up hitter like people call at state league.
Warm up heroes.
First ball. I mean, liberos get to do it on first ball most of the time. We let Darcy Cox jump up, bounce a ball, tear his shoulder out because he doesn't need to swing for the rest of the day.
Well, I don't think I've ever seen him hit one of those balls in though.
He got a kill at Super League.
A defensive kill.
Defensive kill, hitting that. He picked the defense up, went high, back corner.
Right on the baseline.
I think the Queensland coach called out.
You can hear someone calling out.
You can hear someone say out, and it hits the baseline, and those hurt.
But it's a start for Darcy.
Yeah. What would you do for recovery?
I think it's really important to do nutrition. You got to eat after your game. It has to be good, nutritious. I'll say that, and if I'm coaching, I'll probably go straight to the Dandenong canteen and grab some dim sims, which are not the greatest, but that's okay. You have to do whatever you have to do to get your mind ready for coaching.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, should really try and electrolytes straight away, water, nutrition, good sleep. Those are sort of the main key aspects. If you're really sore and you're overloaded, you can do a hot cold shower. which I am a big fan of, but some people are sooks.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, there's a lot of really good stuff that's just like hard to get access to, like ice baths and stuff, but you can mimic that.
You often get the same-ish
boot.
Yeah, those are thousands of dollars though. We actually, this is a couple months away, but we're hoping to get a guest on that helped me sort out my knees in a very, very professional way. She's the S&C coach who will be coming on the show, hopefully, if our schedules align, and talk about that way more in depth, because I think that's a topic that really, just with the nature of the fitness industry, there can be a lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff like that, and would love to get a true expert on, and she is, to talk about that. She saved my knees from, like, I said it earlier, like, I remember when I played Libero for like a season and a half, it was because my knees just would not function.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I was a pretty good Libero, I reckon. Far better Libero than I was past year.
Someone find the clips.
I'll find the clips.
New intro, Libero highlights.
Yeah, they were COVID years. Like, if COVID didn't cancel, we were making finals. I don't know if we were winning, but we were definitely making finals. VAR not having the option to challenge all calls. This is probably just a technical limitation more than anything. And also, like, if you're going to hit the ball into someone's hand, just make it obvious.
It is very hard. Like, as a player, you always, I mean, at state league level, you always wish there was a challenge sometimes, because it just happens that calls go wrong. If other teams are doing the duty, calls just happen wrong. Refs just miss things. It is a very hard job, but then it's attention. But then even people get sad at like international level when they can't challenge something specific because it's a defensive touch, which is always sad as an audience member watching as well, because you're like, maybe you're invested in a team and you just don't get to see what would have happened if the game was maybe slightly closer. But it's just,
I think it's
just a part of the game. It's part of sports. Every sport has it.
And I think I don't think there's ever, I've seen some interesting stuff happen at like schools cups and stuff like this in the past, but at a decently high level, I think there is never an excuse to sort of blame the refereeing or anything like that. Like, at that level, it's very, very good. But in saying that, it would be interesting if you could call challenges for things like reaches and double touches and things. But then it's just like, how robotic is the game after that? Like, how mechanical and it's very stop-starty, and I don't know if that would be the best thing for the sport.
Yeah. Sometimes you just let it play, and that's almost...
Just let the boys play. And girls. That's just a common saying in our team, because we're boys. Who has the best shit talk in Prem 1?
I think we'll probably have the same answer for the most outrageous and just the best is Nick Adamson.
From the Phantoms, who used to play with us.
From the Phantoms, used to play on us. When he's on our side, it's a lot funnier. When he's on their side, actually when it's on our side, it's funny. When he's on the other side, it's even funnier.
I think he only ever, whether he played with us or another team, it was always directed at you.
It was always
even if it was on
always
our
directed
team.
at us. Oh yeah, at me, at us,
at me as well. Yeah. Shout out to Nick. He's a great teammate, a good friend of the show.
Unless you got a different opinion on that, but definitely.
Yeah, enjoy the.
No, he's in a league of his own.
Yeah, a truly unmatchable player when it comes to the verbal side of volleyball.
You're saying when it comes to the non-volleyball stuff?
Yeah. I was trying to say it in the nicest way I could. All right. We hope you enjoyed today's light-hearted episode. Next episode, we're going to do the gold medal match analysis. We hope you enjoyed the round 1 recap earlier in the week. Let us know what you thought of it. Let us know what we can do better. We are still very new, very fresh. We want people, because and we talk about this a lot, and we're at the house talking about like what we should do. What do people want today? Like, there's no volleyball podcast in Australia. I did some more research after asking. No one said that they had heard of anything or anything like that. So we believe we're the only podcast in Australia that's doing it. So we want to know what you guys want to hear. What do you want to cover? We've a lot of the stuff we've been told we're already planning to do when it comes around, like the local state league coverage and things like this.
But let us know what's going on in your communities. If there's anything that you or people are wondering, if you're interested in, coaching stuff, like
and
playing.
Yeah, and keep an eye on the Instagram. We're going to pose questions regularly. We love a bit of Q&A because it just gets us talking and gets you guys talking really easily. We really want to keep an eye on the Instagram this week. We're going to do a lot of like just advice. Send us advice. We're going to share some advice next week and talk about maybe like how we got to where we are and how other players that are far better than us have got to where they are. Like
if you're in the audience, send your opinion on stuff as well, rather than just asking us to.
Yeah, no, send your advice
you would give to yourself 5 years ago.
Or even just if you're a coach, if you're an athlete, if you're a tactician, a referee even, like, we talk a fair amount about the challenges and the referee calls and, well, no, we haven't, but maybe we will. Yeah. Send us any and all. Like everyone knows we love to yap. Thanks for today, Alex. Always a pleasure. Send in all the stuff. Follow us on the medias, on the YouTubes, on the Spotifys, and whatever else we're on. TikTok coming soon, in development. We've got some exciting things on there. Keep an eye out for some mic'd up Union Nationals shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll have some fun there, hopefully.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some fun.
Get some stuff going.
Yeah. Anything else to say to the audience?
Thanks for being here again.
Thanks for listening to us a fourth time. All right. Bye for now.
Bye.